Manchester United are in the middle of one of the most complex transfer windows in recent memory, and today there are multiple stories breaking at the same time. We are talking about a player being offered to AC Milan, a Real Madrid star suddenly being linked with a move to Old Trafford, a midfield target from the World Cup turning heads, and a transfer race that United have quietly walked away from. This is not a quiet window. This is a window where every decision United make right now will shape the club for years to come. So let us go through every story one by one with full clarity, no noise, no exaggeration, just the facts and what they actually mean. Manuel Ugarte and the AC Milan situation. Let us start with what is happening around Manuel Ugarte right now. The situation is very straightforward when you read between the lines. Manchester United are looking to move Ugarte on this summer. They have already reached out to AC Milan and offered the player to the Italian club. That is confirmed. Journalist Sean Irvine reported this week that there have already been some contacts between the two clubs. No formal offer has been made yet, but United have made their intention clear. They want Ugarte out. They have gone to Milan first. Now here is the detail that makes this story very interesting. The potential move would reunite Ugarte with his former manager Ruben Amorim. Amorim is now at AC Milan. Ugarte, of course, worked under Amorim previously, and the player is reportedly open to the move. That openness matters. A player who is willing to go makes a transfer far easier to push through, but then Team Talk added another layer to this story. Manchester United have a price in mind for what they want Milan to pay for Ugarte. They are not giving him away. They have set a valuation and they are waiting to see whether Milan will meet it. Whether the Serie A club agrees to that price remains to be seen. Now let me give you my analysis on this situation. United are being smart here. They are not desperately trying to offload Ugarte for any fee. They have an asking price, they have a willing player, they have a club with a personal connection through the manager. These are all conditions that make a deal possible, but the key word here is possible. Not done, not agreed, not close. This is still very early. Contacts have happened, a price has been set, but Milan have not made an offer yet. United fans watching this story need to understand one thing clearly. Ugarte leaving would free up wages and squad space. That space matters if United are trying to bring in new midfield signings. Every departure creates room for an arrival. So this Ugarte story is not just about one player leaving. It is connected to the bigger midfield rebuild that United are planning. Watch this one carefully over the coming weeks. Engagement hook. If you are the kind of fan who wants proper analysis on stories like these, not just headlines and hot takes, then hit that subscribe button right now. On this channel we go deeper. We connect the dots. We tell you what the facts actually mean for Manchester United. Subscribe now and turn on notifications so you never miss a breakdown like this one. Aurelien Tchouameni and the Real Madrid link. Now this is the story that will get United fans talking the most today. And I want to be very clear about something before I go any further. This is a rumour. This is early stage speculation. It has not been confirmed by a senior journalist like David Ornstein or Fabrizio Romano. So we treat it as what it is, which is an emerging possibility, not a done deal. With that said, let us look at what is being reported. Match Goal Central reported today that a move for Aurélien Tchouameni to Manchester United is being considered as a real possibility. The reason this move could happen is connected to Real Madrid's own transfer activity. Real Madrid are reportedly exploring a deal to sign Enzo Fernández from Chelsea. If that move happens, it would reshape their midfield plans completely, and that reshaping could open the door for Tchouameni to leave. Talks between United and any party are described as still being at a very early stage, but Tchouameni is now a name under serious consideration at Old Trafford. Now let me give you my analysis on what this actually means. The logic of this link makes sense when you think about it carefully. If Real Madrid sign a new midfielder of Enzo Fernández's quality, their midfield depth increases significantly. That means playing time for Tchouameni becomes harder to guarantee. A player of his quality and ambition will want regular football. If Real Madrid cannot promise him that, he becomes available. And Manchester United, who are actively building a new midfield this summer, would be a serious destination. Tchouameni is a deep-lying midfielder. He is physically powerful. He is comfortable in possession. He reads the game at a high level. Those qualities are exactly what a team trying to build a controlled, structured style of football would want. But again, I want to be balanced here. This is early. The source reporting this is not at the level of a Tier 1 journalist. United fans have seen these kinds of links before that never developed into anything. So the sensible approach is to acknowledge the logic of the link while waiting for more credible confirmation before getting fully excited. What this story does tell us clearly is that United's midfield recruitment is very much live. Multiple names are being considered. The club are exploring different profiles. and big names at big clubs are apparently being looked at. That is actually an encouraging sign of ambition, even if this specific deal does not happen. Manchester United walk away from Sandro Tonali. Now let us talk about the story that has actually developed the furthest today, and this one involves a decision United have already made. Manchester United have officially withdrawn from the race to sign Newcastle United midfielder Sandro Tonali. That news came from GameX Global this morning. The Red Devils decided to step back from a potential move due to heavy concerns over the massive overall cost of signing the Italy international. Now let us pair that with what the longer analysis piece told us about this situation. Newcastle United placed a €120 million price tag on Tonali. That valuation came from journalist Nicolo Shearer, and Newcastle's position is firm. They are not pushing Tonali out. They are not offering discounts. Anyone who wants him will pay elite-level money or they will not get him. Tonali's contract runs until 2029 with an option for a further year. That gives Newcastle complete control. They have no financial pressure to sell. They can afford to wait for a club willing to meet their price. For Manchester United, the decision to walk away makes sense when you look at it honestly. €120 million is an enormous fee. When you add wages on top of that, the total financial commitment becomes extremely heavy. United have already been described as cautious because of those combined costs. Now here is what is still happening in the Tonali race. Even though United have stepped back, the competition for his signature remains intense. Arsenal are still highly interested. Manchester City remain in the picture. And Tottenham Hotspur have also been named as a club that wants to secure his signature. So Newcastle will still have serious buyers at the table. The race is still very much alive. United are just no longer part of it. Now let me give you my analysis on what this means for United specifically. Walking away from Tonali does not mean United are giving up on midfield quality. It means they are being financially disciplined. A club that has had serious financial challenges in recent years cannot simply commit over €100 million to one player without very careful consideration. The fact that United explored this option, considered the full cost, and then made a clear decision to step back actually shows a level of structured thinking. They are not chasing players recklessly. They are weighing up value and financial sustainability. The more interesting question now is this: if not Tonali, then who does United target in midfield? And the next story I'm about to break down gives you a very interesting possible answer to that question. Kaleb Yuranki and the World Cup audition. This is the story that has not been talked about enough today, and it deserves serious attention. Manchester United have been linked with signing Kaleb Yuranki, a 20-year-old Ghanaian midfielder who currently plays for Nordsjælland. Urenki was tipped as one to watch at the World Cup by Michael Essien, and in Ghana's opening match against Panama, he delivered a performance that will have had United scouts taking notes. Let me give you the numbers from that game because they are genuinely impressive. Urenki completed 31 out of 32 passes. That is a 97% pass completion rate. He won 5 duels, he completed 9 recoveries, he made 3 interceptions, and he also completed 3 dribbles as he carried the ball forward throughout the match. He also scored the opening goal in that game, getting forward at exactly the right moment to finish off a move, showing the energy and the intelligence to burst into the box at the right time. But the analysis piece made a very important point about what was most impressive. It was not the statistics, it was the attitude. Urenki was described as relentless. He was not content to simply patrol his own area of the pitch. He pressed the opposition wherever they were. He hunted the ball aggressively. He covered enormous ground and did it quickly. And crucially, he maintained that intensity for the full 90 minutes. That combination of physical output, technical quality and mental drive is exactly what a modern midfielder needs at the highest level. Now let me give you my analysis on what this means for Manchester United. The analysis piece drew a direct comparison between Urenki and Carlos Baleba. It stated clearly that United's midfield rebuild had steered away from Baleba because of both the price tag and the fact that his profile suits Michael Carrick's style more than Ruben Amorim's system. Urenki, by contrast, is available for around £20 million. That is a fraction of what Baleba would cost. And he offers similar physical impact in midfield combined with the ball carrying and passing security that Amorim's style requires. The analysis was straightforward on this. At £20 million, Urenki should be a no-brainer as a squad player who can grow into a bigger role. Now here is the wider picture. United are operating in a summer transfer window where every pound matters. Walking away from Tonali at €120 million, but potentially moving for Urenki at £20 million is actually a coherent strategy. You spend big where you absolutely must, and you find smart value where the market allows. A 20-year-old midfielder with a World Cup audition already delivering at this level, available at that kind of price, represents exactly the kind of recruitment that builds a squad sustainably. Keep watching Yuranki. His World Cup performances will only increase interest. United need to move quickly if they are serious about this one. Marcus Rashford and the Barcelona door closing. Now let us talk about Marcus Rashford. The situation is clear and United have made their position firm. Manchester United have made it known that they have no intention of entering fresh loan talks with Barcelona over Rashford. That information comes from ESPN. United will not negotiate another temporary agreement with the Spanish champions. Here is how we got to this point. When Rashford joined Barcelona on loan, the deal included a permanent purchase option worth around €30 million. Barcelona had until June 15th to activate that option. They chose not to activate it. They let the deadline pass without making a move to sign him permanently. That decision told United everything they needed to know. If Barcelona were not willing to commit €30 million to a player they had on loan, there is no logical reason for United to hand them another short-term arrangement. Another loan would simply delay the problem. It would not solve it. Rashford is 28 years old. He still has value in the transfer market. United need either a permanent sale that brings clarity and funds or a final decision about whether he has any future at Old Trafford. Now here is the complication that the facts present. Rashford is currently at the World Cup with England. He scored after coming off the bench in England's opening 4-2 win over Croatia. That goal immediately sparked fresh debate, with TalkSport noting that the performance raised questions about whether United should reconsider their position on him. But United's message from Old Trafford appears firm. A strong tournament might increase his market value, which would actually benefit United in terms of the fee they could command. A good World Cup raises interest from other clubs, and that is good for United's negotiating position. The key point here is this: United are not keeping Barcelona in the picture. If Rashford leaves this summer, the club want it to be on terms that bring genuine clarity, a permanent sale, a real fee, a clean exit. Now let me give you my analysis on what this means. Rashford at 28 is at a crossroads. He has World Cup football ahead of him. He has a goal already in the tournament. There will be clubs watching him very closely over the coming weeks. For United, the smartest move is exactly what they appear to be doing. Do not block his World Cup participation. Let him play, let him perform, let the market react, and then use whatever interest emerges to negotiate the best possible permanent deal. The Barcelona chapter appears to be finished. The next chapter for Rashford will be written elsewhere. And United are positioning themselves to benefit from whatever form he shows at the World Cup. Sandro Tonali, Arsenal and the bigger picture. We already covered United's withdrawal from the Tonali race. But let us zoom out and look at the wider picture here, because it tells us something important. Arsenal are still very much in pursuit of Tonali. The attraction for Arsenal is obvious. Mikel Arteta's side have been looking to add more authority and control in midfield. Tonali brings exactly that. He has Premier League experience already. He has Champions League pedigree. He has defensive discipline and the passing range to play in a title-chasing side. The analysis is clear on what Tonali would mean for Arsenal. He could be the final piece in a title-winning midfield. Manchester City are also still in the picture. Tottenham Hotspur as well. So Newcastle face a situation where multiple Premier League clubs want their player, but United have removed themselves from the competition. That actually reduces Newcastle's leverage slightly in terms of the English market, but Arsenal and City are serious enough buyers that Newcastle's asking price will not drop significantly. The key question for the rest of this window is whether Arsenal are willing to break the bank for Tonali. The analysis described it simply and honestly. Arsenal and United face a difficult question. Is he worth breaking the bank for? For Arsenal, he could be the final piece. That suggests the answer might be yes. For United, the answer has already been given, and it was no. Kobbie Mainoo, Harry Maguire, and the World Cup subplot. Let us close with a story that is a little different from the transfer news. Harry Maguire was left out of England's World Cup squad by Thomas Tuchel. He was recalled to the squad in March but was not selected for the tournament. That is a painful situation for any player. Instead of being in North America competing at the biggest tournament on the planet, Maguire is doing punditry for The Rest is Football on Netflix alongside Gary Lineker, Alan Shearer and Micah Richards. In a new video for that platform, Maguire was asked which youngsters to watch at the World Cup. He named his Manchester United teammate Kobbie Mainoo. His exact words were these. He said Kobbie will shine if he gets a chance on the pitch. Mainoo was an unused substitute in England's 4-2 opening win over Croatia. but he could play in the remaining 2 group stage matches against Ghana or Panama. This would be Mainoo's first ever World Cup appearance if he gets onto the pitch. Maguire also named Nico O'Reilly of Manchester City as another youngster to watch. Now let me give you my analysis on what this means. Mainoo at the World Cup, even as a substitute, is a significant moment for his development and for Manchester United. If Mainoo gets minutes and performs well, it only increases his confidence and his profile heading into next season. United fans will be watching closely to see how he develops in an England shirt and how that carries over into his club football. The Maguire angle is also worth noting. A senior player watching from the outside, specifically naming his club teammate as someone who will shine, is a meaningful endorsement. It tells you about the culture at United and the belief that exists in the squad around Mainoo's ability. Closing analysis. Let me bring all of this together for you now. Manchester United are in the middle of a window that is pulling in multiple directions at the same time. On the outgoing side, Ugarte is being offered to AC Milan with a price set. Rashford's Barcelona chapter is finished and the club are waiting for the right permanent offer. These are the players going out. On the incoming side, Tchouameni is an early rumour that deserves monitoring but not overexcitement. Kaleb Yuranki is a genuine World Cup audition that could result in a smart £20 million signing. Tonali was considered and rejected on financial grounds. The picture that emerges from all of this is of a club that is trying to be disciplined, structured and thoughtful in how they approach this window. They are not spending recklessly. They are not chasing every name. They are setting prices for outgoing players, monitoring value options in the market, and making calculated decisions about where to spend and where to step back. Whether that approach delivers the quality upgrades United need remains to be seen, but the decision-making so far shows a club that is thinking clearly rather than reacting emotionally. That is exactly what was missing in previous windows, and if this approach continues, this summer could be the beginning of a genuinely smarter era of recruitment at Old Trafford. Stay with Harris United Analyst for every update as this window develops. Subscribe now if you have not already. Turn on notifications. And leave a comment below telling me which of these stories you think is the most important for Manchester United's future. This has been Harris United Analyst. Thank you for watching.